All right, here we are for another Saturday Night Live Zoom Q&A. We don't have anybody for interview today with so much happening around the world. With all these hurricanes and disasters, it's just getting pretty nasty. We need to really focus our path and focus on the light and peace and balance to Mother Earth. So, we're here for some Q&As for anybody who has any questions. Now's the time. I don't just want to keep talking because I've done enough. I'm really seeing so much change is happening with the people wanting to make changes in their lives. It's becoming more and more apparent for people that they can't keep doing the same thing and expect different results. Something has to change to get that shift to happen. And we start with ourselves making the decision and moving ahead with intent and emotion to make it happen. So, with all the stuff going on, a lot of the whole West Coast is in shambles, running away to get to safe places. What's happened to, was it Texas, the last one? They got a big mess to clean up, and a lot of the islands have been hit. So, lots is going on around the planet. A lot of imbalance. Are these man-made or are they natural? Who knows? But I posted a link that Canada actually has what's it called? A Weather Modification Act. They actually have an act. It's a law with all their rules and regulations for controlling the weather. So why would they have that if weather control modification wasn't possible? You have to ask that question. That act, I don't know when it started, but I think it's been around for a while. I'm not sure if other countries do have that, but if Canada has it, I'm sure they do, because Canada usually follows a lot of what other countries are doing, like England and US and so on and so forth. But it's interesting that some people believe that their weather modifications are not happening, not possible. They wouldn't spend all that time and energy putting an act and laws together if it wasn't just on that simple basis. So, Sid was asking earlier about taking the herbal tinctures. When you take it as a shot, if you hold it in your mouth, there's many ways to do it. I change it up. Sometimes I'll put it in the tea. Some people don't like that and they want to do it as a shot. If you take it as a shot, you could leave it in your mouth. I like the taste of the herbs, and I'll keep it in my mouth a while. But not everybody likes that. Some people will want to put it in their grape juice to hide some of the flavor. But I found that once you clean up and start moving the bowels, some of the GI tract gets cleared, you'll acquire a taste for them. Who do we have here? Hi, Danny here in a hotel room with my wee one who's sleeping. Okay, I'll chime in here if I have something to add. All right, Danny. Awesome that you joined. We have Don joined us. Hello, Don. It's a Q&A, so I don't want to be blabbering on. Go ahead if you have any questions. Now's the time. Rana, any questions that you keep seeing over and over? No?
No, I don't remember anything.
Everything's gone blank for everybody today.
Yeah, we got busy. We could have posted something about questions and answers.
I did just about an hour ago, or half an hour ago. I just, with everything going on, it slipped my mind, but we keep moving forward. So what is it about everybody having so many issues with food? That's one of the biggest challenges for everybody. You know, I've talked about this before, that no matter where you go, no matter where you turn, where you drive, there's food everywhere. Everything revolves around food in our society. Events, gatherings, by the clock, you know, oh, a certain time, 12 o'clock, let's go have lunch, whatever, breakfast, dinner. And, you know, I see a lot of children, the way they're brought up, they're forced into these schedules. It's the worst thing we can do with children. Just leave them alone. They'll let you know when they're hungry, and they'll eat as much as they need to eat. You don't need to know. Actually, you really don't know what their needs are. The body does, and the body will respond exactly to what its needs are. This is the simplicity of it. If we allow the children to make their own decisions and not force anything upon them, they won't grow up with these emotional attachments to food like most of us have. So this is where it's going to start. All of us that didn't have that and were fed, you know, through hours and times and so much, we have a bit more challenges because that programming is deep within us. So we need to add to the knowledge, because no reason to subtract. We can't remove these memories from us, but we can add to the knowledge so we have an understanding, and we can let go of the old and use the new understanding. Humans eat way too much food, especially the ones in modern so-called civilizations, cultures. I don't think you probably would see this in Aboriginal tribes kind of people that are living still in with nature. I don't think you'll see too much of emotional eating. This is what I'm assuming, as you see in our main society, because they have no televisions, newspapers, radios, with the internet, whatever, bombarding them with food and commercials and so on and so forth. These are all triggers that we all are exposed to, and these triggers will ignite these emotions every time we see them or hear them. The strongest ones are the odor. That's why the essential oils work so amazing, because they deal direct with the emotion, the odors. Rose oil, one of my favorite. I just love rose. It's just awesome. But the lungs, gateway to the emotion. the breath. That's one way that is very effective when you have cravings. Essential oils will really, really help you. Just go with ones you're attracted to, and maybe get a couple of others that, for whatever reason, you believe you need them for, like for appetite. I think grapefruit essential oil is supposed to be an appetite killer. You can also just get a grapefruit, scratch the skin and sniff it if you don't have the oil. But that's one that people say helps. Breath work is crucial. We really don't need to go out anywhere else. We have everything within. The breath work is the easiest thing we can do. The Buteyko breathing method is a very, very powerful way to retrain yourself to breathe properly and minimally. We're breathing too much. All people who are ill or sick, you'll notice they breathe a lot, and most of them will be breathing through their mouth. And what that does is taking in all this air in and out, you're depleting all your CO2. And with the new understanding, the CO2, in plasma science, CO2 is crucial for energy transfer. No CO2, no energy transfer. So, the best CO2 you can get is the one your body makes. And how do you harness it? You harness it by minimal breathing, nasal breathing, only nasal breathing, in and out through your nasal passages. We've posted some videos on the Buteyko. It's a very simple method. And it's one that I started implementing at the beginning. No, when was it? The end of last year or the beginning of this year? I can't remember exactly. That's my mother waiting. Once I started implementing it, it's at the beginning you get to feel like you're suffocating, and that's okay. That means you're utilizing some of the CO2. And I found doing exercises and implementing the same type of breath work, meaning minimally, only nasal breathing, I found that I got rid of all my muscle aches from when you work out the next day. You get the acid buildup and the pain. When you utilize this breathing methodology and you raise your CO2 levels, you will not have any aches and pains anymore in your muscles the next day. It's pretty amazing. The CO2 allows the utilization of the air. I'm not going to say oxygen because there's much more than oxygen that's happening. Actually, the air is about 70% nitrogen, oxygen, and helium, I believe, and a very, very small amount of carbon and hydrogen. I think those are the few gases. And they're in a plasmatic state, so when we're taking them in, the exchange is creating matter. Everything works like that. All matter is created through energy exchange of fields. There's no matter created without field exchange. And we can't create or destroy any energy. We can only transform it. Everything's energy. So as we're, taking in this breath, we're creating matter. We're not eating 24 hours a day. So how's the body functioning? If we take measurement, we have an electrical current going through our body. Where's that energy continuously being produced to run our body? Getting from the food. A lot of you that have done the long master fasts have went back to food, and they never felt as good as when they were on master fast and without eating anything, just taking in liquids. Why is that? Well, food robs you of energy. It's huge amounts of energy to digest any food. Their body has to process it, the work involved in chewing and then digesting to convert the matter into GAN state, plasmatic state, in order for our body to utilize the fields from that food. That's why cooked food is easier to digest, because it's already in a higher GAN state when you cook things. But the problem is the obstructions as it goes through our system. You don't. If you want to do some tests, I think I was starting to get into this in the last call, and I have to go. But if you do like the Chinese cooking with the wok and high temperatures, that's produces a very high GAN state of the materials that you're cooking. As soon as you put it in your mouth, you've already got the energies from it. You don't have to swallow it. You just chew it up, spit it out. You have that energy from that food. If you do an experiment, for example, grains, which a lot of people have big issues with grains, just once you've done fast for a while and you feel cleaned up and your aches and pains have diminished, they're gone, get some grains of whatever, some rice or some whatever, pasta or whatever, and chew it up, spit it out, and let me know the next morning if you feel the effects of those grains. I've tried it. You don't need to swallow it. You're going to still feel the effects. They're not as profound because you're not dealing with the actual matter. You're just dealing with the energy of it, but you're going to still feel the similar effects as you have if you've eaten it and swallowed it. So, if we have this understanding, then why do we believe we need to eat? That's the question. People say, oh, we have teeth in the digestive system, so we're supposed to eat. The animals eat, so we're supposed to eat. Well, where we came from, we didn't eat before. And when we're going back, we're not going to be eating physical foods. Everything's done through energy exchange. Planets don't eat. Stars don't eat. The moon doesn't eat. And they continuously have motion. They don't have any engines, fuel, or wings. And they continuously have motion. Where's that energy coming from? Where are they harnessing that energy? Well, the energy comes from within. We all have it. Because we're a direct reflection on the operation of the universe, of the human body is. So if the universe is doing it, continuously able to harness energy and moving for thousands and thousands and millions and billions of years, continuously orbiting all the different planets, why can't we do it? Well, the reason is because we plugged ourselves up from the first bite of food, and which has enslaved humanity. So, we can argue the fact that, we're fruitarian because our physicality looks like a primate. Or we can open ourselves up to higher order and look at it another way. Our system is already harnessing energy, whether you believe it or not, because we're not eating 24 hours a day. And depending on what you eat, even fruit, if you eat too much fruit, you're going to get a little bit of energy being robbed from you until it gets processed. Fruit is the least work for your body from other foods by far, and the least karmic as well, especially if it falls off the tree on its own. So if we're able to harness this energy already, because we're doing it, then why are we falling in the trap that we have to eat? Well, I believe from the first bite humanity took was the start of enslavement. And our GI tract is actually a vacuum system. I like calling it the plasma vacuum system. Any obstructions in there, if you have anything in the way of a field going through, just think of a little radio with an antenna or a Wi-Fi or whatever. If you have things in the way, the waves are affected, and you move them around till you get a clear view to the main towers or whatever, and you get a clearer sound. The same thing with our GI tract. So if we have obstructions from the food we've been eating, which build up over time, years, the fields from that food are not clear to go through. And it just keeps building and building and building, and then we start having all these issues. We can clean it out to a pristine state again, you can harness the infinite energy source supply that we have within from the cosmos, because it'll be clear and there's nothing in the way for us to absorb these fields. These fields are all around us. We're flooded with them all over the place. If you go out in nature, away from all the buildings and everything, you'll feel it more. If you're in the city, you're not going to feel it as much. It's the same thing, like we have obstructions in our GI tract. In the cities, we have obstructions, buildings and so on, all these unnatural things from the cosmos fields. So this is why we see people that move into the realm of no food, whether you believe it or not, they exist. They usually move away from cities and stuff and go into nature because it's much easier to harness. Not saying that it's impossible to harness in the city, you just need to focus more because everything's possible. So the key is clean out this vacuum plasma tube so we can harness the energy clear and abundantly, so we don't need to have that urge to get hungry. What's hunger? If you ask most people who have done the long master fast, the thing I've heard over and over is, I'm not hungry, but I need to chew something. It's because of the habit and the programming. But there is no real hunger. True hunger doesn't come from the gut area. And the more we eat, I found the more you eat, the more hungry you get. The more you drink, the more thirsty you get. So that's why when we clean out the GI tract really well, all these sensations go away. It's just the programming part of it that's a challenge for most of us. That we have to eat at a certain time and so on and so forth, and then all the trigger impulses that we get all around us with other people eating and events and televisions blaring everywhere and commercials and so on and so forth. So these are all the things that we have to deal with in this. What's the challenge for most of us? It's very interesting, the belief system of all the different people. When you talk to and ask questions, people believe that it's possible to live without physical food, and some people will really just attack you. Like, it's just, wow. very strong belief systems. What we're doing is showing people what's possible. 108 days, anybody can do it if they put their mind to it, emotion, intent. Anybody can do it. We've had people from all walks of life with all types of diets do 108 days. So we've shown that it's possible for everybody to do it. The tricky part is coming off. It's for everybody. And this is where, with training, we could allow ourselves to change the programming a little bit. I think somebody has a question here on iPhone. You have your hand raised. Did you want to ask something? Okay. So where was I? Yeah, the belief system.
There are some comments here.
There are? I don't see it.
No?
Oh, okay. Okay, here we go. It was in red. Strange, okay. Okay, so I see people asking, this is a lot, the schedule when, I'm not sure what you're saying here. It said, when do we drink, what and when? About the schedule? Well, that's the protocol, you mean, Sid? It's pretty straightforward. You have a dry window and you have a wet window. At the beginning and the end of your wet window, tinctures and tea, plasma pudding once in the morning or in the evening, at the end of the day after your tinctures and tea. And then we sip the juice during the day, and that's it. That's how simple it is. Everything's pretty clear in the protocol. If people are asking that, they haven't read the protocol. Okay, iPhone. Hi, Gino. Question for you. I had asked on the board about using GANs for development delays in my wee one. I received type GANs from Chikesh in the mail yesterday. My wee one gravitated right to them, of course. And in an instant, he opened the CUO and tried to drink it. I intercepted it from him and think he ingested a few drops. Don't worry about it. My spirit gathered from this that his spirit is in need of this one. So my question from this earthly mother, shall I be concerned that he ingested a few drops? Haven't seen anything in our norm from him since it happened, out of the norm. Anything out of the norm. Yeah, don't be concerned. We don't need to be drinking the GANs materials. They've done tests on lab mice for cancer, and they actually had them ingesting the GANs for cancer, 100% success rate. But we don't need to be actually ingesting the GANs. We just need to energize water and using the energy of it. You know, just think about fields. We're using the field. So once you've energized the water, you can take that. You don't need to drink it. You just need to take a teaspoon 3 times a day like medicine. You can spray it on things like your clothes, your bed. You can spray it on walls, windows, doors. You can spray it on the floor. You just like mist. You can use I'm talking about the liquid plasma. You can use it for giving it to your pets. All animals gravitate towards the liquid plasma right away. A few people have tested it. I've tested it. The animals just go for it. They know. Plants love it. But for your little one, the CuO it's a copper oxide. It's needed for muscle, and it's also for type of disinfecting. It's good for pathogens and so on and so forth. So if that's the one he gravitated to, I just would energize the water with all of them. You got 4 in the kit, and just put them around the container. Take them around the little bottles, I think it comes in, and let it stay for 24 hours, and then that water is ready. And use the water in all those different ways. I for plants, they really love the copper, not the copper, the CO2 and zinc oxide. They really love that. I haven't really experimented with the other ones. Those are the main ones that we've used on plants. But those four are great. The CH3, the orangey one. Let me turn on the light here. CH3 is the orangey one. That's for energy. And anybody who has any they've been diagnosed with any cancer shouldn't be using that one. But anybody else could use it if you need energy. With that one there, I got my yeah, it's a CH3, yeah. This is the copper oxide. Is this the one? CO. The beautiful colors. Copper oxide. So yeah, just put them around and use the water. You can get a big container, and then you have lots of liquid plasma. Once the energy transfers into the water, the energy's there. You can also make pain pads, and the pain pads are simple. Just get a Ziploc bag. You need two of them to do it properly. Put either a paper towel in it or a cloth without any dyes or anything. And then you just spray it inside and take out the excess water and seal it up. You have one big one and then make another one, a small one. And you use them in twos. So you have a field interaction between the two, wherever the issue is on the body. That's how you use pain pads. And these things, once you, pain pads, you should not interchange them when somebody's used it. Keep it as personal. So that's another thing you can do. But the best thing to do with the GANs is breathe in the fields. Get yourself breathing tubes that they use in the hospitals. These are pretty cheap. For a few bucks you can pick these up. They use for breathing oxygen. And this is, I think this one is 7 meters, 7 yards, whatever system you're using approximately. And what you need to do with that is you need to nanocoat that with lye. And on the outside, and then you build yourself a container. There's videos I've shared on how to do that, and build a container, nanocoat that, and then you fill it up with the liquid plasma, CO2 and zinc oxide, and you run the tube through it, and you have a pump at the end. A little fish tank pump would work. Because the hose is long, you won't be able to breathe through it, so you need air to be pushed through it, and you can breathe through that. And then you change directions, so you do that 15 minutes a day, each direction. That would be really, really great for the child to do. Very simple to do. I know I'm just touching on it simply, basically, but there is videos on explaining it. We can share the links, which I have on our board, on how to do these things. There's lots of people made videos, so we don't need to redo them. But the breathing method is the best, to breathe in the fields, because it goes straight to emotion, physicality through the lungs. Okay, so you'll be making a breathing device soon. Awesome. Which GAN should we use for the pain pad? Try different ones. Try the zinc oxide CO2, and then use the maybe make the small one with the copper, and see how that affects. But you can change them around, do things. You need to implement these for a few months, 3, 4, 5, 6 months. Naomi, my friend's daughter in Italy, who was in the so-called car accident where her boyfriend was actually murdered. It was in an accident. The body was not in a position that had anything to do with the accident. She was in a coma, and it's been over a year now. And she out of the coma. Her hip was broken, leg broken, face crushed. The hip was severed. They put her in the palliative care when you're ready to go. They don't have any hope that you're going to die. Anyway, she came out of the coma very quickly, within a few weeks, and the hip completely mended itself, and you can't even tell where it is. They showed us the x-rays. They're on some of the live cash workshops. She was on a feeding tube. Mr. Kesh was telling Giovanni, my friend, to make the helmet for her, a certain helmet where we have the different fields to help with the brain because she had brain damage. And he was putting it off, and then he finally made the helmet. And in one day, when they put the helmet off, she was on her. She was able to move her mouth and get her off the feeding tube. So slowly but surely, the brain damage is being reversed, and this is only with plasma fields, no diet, just to touch on what's possible with plasma once you have a little bit of understanding. We're all learning this, so we don't have all the answers, but there's no right or wrong. You just need to implement them and stick with these. This is a severe case of a lot of damage to the body and to the brain. And, she's up and about now and be able to move her mouth and eat now. Still got work to do, but it's just shows you what's possible. Everything's possible. The more we learn, we'll be able to see much greater miracles like this happening much quicker. So it's awesome to see this kind of stuff, what's possible. The people have posted using ganses on their animals and so on and so forth, taking the animals out of illness and so on and so forth. Many experiments have been done on plants. My zucchinis, they went crazy this year. Plants grew huge. I've shared a small video on that. But it's very nice to play with this stuff. I haven't been playing enough with it, but we need to remember that we are GANs material. We are in a plasmatic state. It's all nice to play with these things, but at the end of the day, the center of our brain where the soul sits, we have the potential of many power of many Hiroshima bombs. That's how much power a soul has, and we have that the control with the power of intent and emotion. If we have an understanding of how to use it, just like when we travel in our dreams. If you think about being on Mars, you're instantly there. There's no time space. You're there very quickly. We have Evo who's joining us. How you doing, Evo? Where are you now? Are you still in Mexico? Have you been traveling around? We're just blabbering on. If you guys got some questions, we're discussing a bit about living on plasma, light, so on and so forth, which we see is becoming more and more popular these few days, last few years. It's interesting what's happening. How you doing, Evo?
Hey, doing good, Gino. Can you hear me?
Yeah. Where are you now?
I'm back in San Antonio. Yeah, I was in Mexico for a little bit. I'm still here. Doing experiments with did longer dry fast during the day. Had a 20-hour a week eating window, 5 days a week, two days of dry, and 2 weeks I was off of that. Then I went back on and experimenting with breathing and doing that. And eating, trying to eat less dense fruits, more high water fruits, but just experimenting and Still haven't jumped back on the master fast yet, but experimenting with the dries and eating less and shortening up the windows. Yeah.
Yeah. You're anywhere near where the disaster happened with the hurricane?
No, it's about 2.5 hours south of me in Corpus, and then Houston's about 3 hours east. So yeah, no, yeah, I know it got hit pretty bad. Yeah, and so have talked to friends there, and but they're picking up and doing what they got to do.
Yeah. So did you put on more weight?
No, actually, I'm fluctuating between 1 pound under my original starting master fast weight and maybe a pound above, because I'm eating the less dense fruits a lot of times. Mm-hmm. It's, I guess, I know we don't talk about calories, but less calorically dense, whatever. And my weight has shifted within about 2 or 3 pounds, so a little bit below or a little bit above my original. Yeah, with the experiments I'm doing of less eating.
Yeah, well, yeah. When we're eating, this is where we push the dry fasting windows, because doing it on master fast is just too aggressive for most people. When you're eating, it seems to build more confidence in people when they're eating. You can go longer, I don't get into the issues of drying yourself out, which happens to some people when they push too much, because so many people are in a state of dehydration already, and it takes a bit of work to shift that and start hydrating the body. But one step at a time, we move towards changing everything and the terrain and getting it more hydrated and more balanced, and it just you'll feel completely different. You don't get thirsty anymore. That's one thing. It's when you start getting hydrated, no more thirst. You don't sweat a lot anymore, and unless it's really, really hot, you're doing a lot of work. But even then, you're going to sweat a lot less than you would when we're full of obstructions. So it's cool to see the changes happening in people.
You're sweating so much once you get hydrated.
Say that again.
When you get the cells hydrated.
Yeah, well, that's at the cellular level. Yeah. Once the body goes into a hydrated state versus dehydrated at the cell level, correct, is when you stop getting thirsty. If you start drinking water, you're going to get thirsty. You're going to get more thirsty. The more you drink, the more thirsty you're going to get. Just like food, the more you eat, the hungrier you're going to get. I remember, when we were young, going bar hopping and stuff. After the bar, 2, 3 in the morning, whatever, go eat. Wake up in the morning, a few hours later, you'd be hungry. Couldn't figure it out back then, but now we understand what it's all about. The more you eat, the more hungry you're going to get. It's not hunger. It's just, I don't know what it is, but it just triggers that. The eating triggers eating, and the drinking triggers drinking. So we're showing and teaching. Let's reverse that. Let's implement fasting as part of our lifestyle. And when we eat, let's eat in a small window each day, and let's eat less. And what's going to happen? We're seeing what's happening. We've seen what's happening. People are getting better. They're healthier. They're getting their minds clearer. They're sharper, more energy. It takes time to switch it over, but we've seen it. We've seen this is what happens. A lot of us have come from a place where we're way out of balance, and with illness and suffering and this and that. It's going to take some time. It's going to take some time. I'm here with you guys. I destroyed my health, and I'm feeling a lot better now than I have in many, many years since those few years that I destroyed myself. But it takes some time to shift it. We put the effort in and the energy, and it's going to change. You got no choice. The body has to change when you start cleaning it up. It's a no-brainer if we do the work. It's a lot of us just we're a little bit impatient. We want it now. This is where the support system comes into play. To gain the understanding that it takes what it takes. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 years. What's the difference? We didn't come to this situation in a few years. It took many, many years of abusing our bodies, over all these years.
Oh, she's got a sweatshirt and a big heavy blanket on.
Yeah, is that Jan speaking? See Jan 240? I think so. Sorry? What was that, Jan?
I'm sorry, I'm trying to figure out how to work this thing.
You said something I didn't understand.
I was talking to my dog. I'm just trying to figure out how to work this.
Okay, I can mute you if you don't have any questions.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. So, yeah, let's shoot some questions, people. So, let's hear some stuff. What's going on? What's good?
I see some comments, Gino.
Yeah, more comments? Okay. Okay, she has that. Mix the GAN. Don't mix the GANs together. No, keep them separate, and you can energize the water all with all of them attached to a bottle. For instance, if you have a bottle, a big bottle, just put the GANs around it and tape them up, or elastic. Just energy exchange. They don't need to be inside. We're using the field transfer. They don't need to touch the water. You can also drop them in the water if they're sealed. That's okay. Yeah. My friend's daughter she's only 20 years old, and he was 21 or something at the time. I spent 8 months with him in Italy. It's very sad, very sad. But we're going to see some magic happening. We've already seen some pretty amazing stuff happen with her. With their hip, it was off, complete sever, and completely mended. You can't even tell. The doctors weren't going to even touch her because of they didn't think she was going to make it. But completely recovered and healed, and the body does it. The body does everything if we allow it. It's pretty fascinating. But there's a lot of things that Mr. Kesh has helped people with over the years with plasma, and that's why they charged him with practicing medicine without a license in Belgium. It's this stuff. If this information gets out to the masses, hospitals will not be needed anymore. This is where we're going. I believe we'll see it in our lifetime. Just with the interest that's happening with the movement to living off the plasma, prana, light, whatever you want to call it. The interest has gone up a lot in the last couple of years, especially in this last year. We're seeing more and more people having that interest, whether they want to do it part-time or full-time. That's irrelevant because we're all doing it part-time. We just increase the time that we're doing it each day. We're having the season change coming up, fall. Time for the long dry fast. 5, 6, 7 days, 8 days, 9 days, anyone? Don't be scared. Set a goal and work towards it. Sometimes, you may feel horrific on your 3rd, 4th, 5th day, and then you wake up the next day and you feel amazing. It's really interesting how things change during these long dry fasts. And it's hard to understand if you don't actually experience it. Like, it's night and day, the shifts. It can happen either way. You feel horrible and you feel amazing, then you feel amazing and you feel horrible. This happens in fasting in general, but in dry fasting it happens much quicker. In dry fasting, it all comes down to keeping that faith and the trust. When you're in drinking the juices and taking the herbs and so on and so forth, we got tools to use. Enemas, lifesavers. Keep washing that colon. I can't stress it enough. The people that do more washing with enemas and colonics or kalimas, they have a much easier time and better results than the people who don't. It's that simple. Wash. It's only going to help you. I highly recommend people getting a kalima board because it's so much easier than doing enemas. And also, even if you're doing that, go get a colonic once a week or every couple of weeks, even, because that's a closed system versus an open system. It goes so much deeper. In your Kalima board, you're doing about 5 gallons in 45 minutes. Colonic with a closed system with a therapist, you're doing anywhere from 20 to 40 gallons can go through you. So it's very, very effective. Hello, Sandy. So yeah, keep washing those colons. It's only going to help you guys. Can't stress it enough. Forget about what people are saying. We've shown through so many people how strong people's bowels become after long fasts, and some of us may still have a challenge and more work to do, but they're only going to get stronger. Washing the colon through these fasts. Anything else you guys want to know? Or forever hold your peace? Sandy, how you doing? You're back on the Master Fast?
Yeah, it's been tough. I do have a question about dry fasting. I don't know why I cannot get to longer hours. I get sick, my tongue swells up. I know it. Okay. All right.
I read that when you posted it. Is it today or yesterday? Your tongue swell? That's interesting. How much does it swell? A lot?
Well, like you pointed to your head, I feel like it's a lot. And when I look in the mirror, it looks like a lot. But then I think, well, my digestive.
Yeah. Can you feel it? Or you're just looking at it? You feel it?
No, I can feel it. It feels like, it feels like it's doubled. And I'm sure it's not. But it just feels thicker. And so, yeah, okay.
Have you tried any of the tips that we, to try and extend, like introducing some of the tinctures, small amounts, and then if you're still having challenges with small amounts of liquid with the juice and the tea interchanging? Have you tried any of that?
I've tried. I rinse my mouth out with the tinctures, and I do oil pulling, and then I've done tinctures where I'll just swallow them. And like whenever I'm starting to go like a little wacko, then I'll take those, and then I'll be able to go another 12 hours or so, or 6 hours depending. And Well, the other day I even tried to do just a little bit of tincture every 2 hours just to get me going, because I can't. It's been 6 months since I did my 108, and I'm still just kind of floundering. I don't know.
Well,
Still getting swollen.
do you remember where you came from when you started 108?
Bad.
Okay, you've come a long way,
Yeah.
and yeah, it's okay. So 6 months. Sorry.
No, the 108 did fantastic things for me.
Yeah, no, but I'm saying it's 6 months since you finished, right?
Yeah.
It's still kind of at the tail end of the second phase, we like to call it. Things can still be going on for 3 to 6 months after, because it's a long fast. So
well, and I now know that my body just wasn't ready for food, and I kept pushing it to eat food, and now I look at it like, why did I do that? I just kept thinking, okay,
we all do it.
Every sign that it was not ready. Swollen ankles, swollen legs, swollen tongue, swollen everything, swollen face. I still have my swollen face. My lymph nodes are finally going down. Finally. I had every sign, and yet I'd go to that watermelon the next day, and I would do cantaloupe, and I would do papaya, and it just didn't stop. I don't know. Now I know.
It's okay. It's okay.
Yeah.
We need to train ourselves, and this is where some of the mini options that we introduced that'll help people, and going back and forth. So we train ourselves breaking the fast, and it's a challenge for the mind to comprehend how little food the body really needs if we choose to eat after you do one of these long fasts, because the body is in a much more sensitive, cleaner, efficient state after you do one of these long fasts. And our brain doesn't understand, or our programming, or subconscious doesn't understand that. So we have to train it. And, for some of us, it may take a few years, but who cares? What else are you going to do?
Yeah.
What else are you going to do?
So, yeah. Well, at the end of my 108, I could feel the trees communicating with me. And I know people look at me like I'm nutso. And everything, the 108, it was like a really good drug. And I want that back. I've lost all of it. I don't have any communication with anything anymore. I can barely feel anything. So that's what's brought me back, because I want that again. And I'll get it. I know I will.
Yeah. And you should be able to maintain it once you,
That's my trick.
But was it you also having some family challenges and so on and so forth, or was it somebody else?
No, family challenges. Yeah.
Yeah, we're all in that. But hey, we do the best we can. This is it. We're all dealing with the same things: food everywhere, and people's belief systems. Yeah. It's all around us. So what do? We do the best we can. All we can do.
Yeah, I blog every day. I put in my little diary, my journal, and every day it's about emotions, and how people are going to do things, and I just have to say, you go do your thing. It doesn't affect me, but it still is affecting me. So,
yeah. Environment dictates outcome. We have to really raise our fields to not have it affect us. Everything's affecting us all the time. So we do the best we can. That's all we can do. Yeah, you've come a long way. Just go back and remember when you started. Read what you wrote after you did 108 days or whatever, and go through that. People seem to forget very quickly where they came from when they've done 108. Very quickly.
Yeah.
when nobody wants to remember all the pain and suffering, it's gone. Once it's gone, you don't want to remember it. It's like erased. Oh, and then you read it, and you know, you really. This is where, you know, people, if they dialogue everything they've done and take pictures, it's amazing.
Yeah.
How people forget so quick.
I've come from feeling like I had the flu every day for, you know, 7 years. I was
7
cold.
years. Wow.
Yeah, but I couldn't find anything. I was looking. I fell for the Weston A. Price. You know, what we all do.
Yeah,
I did
well,
all of that. So, and now I know I have the answer. I have the answer. It's just.
yeah, we don't have all the answers, but we've come a long way in a little bit of understanding. So
Yeah.
what can happen with people? You know, we've seen pretty amazing miracles on some people, which is beautiful. So, you know, we keep learning. But my whole thing is less is more. Less is more.
I write that at least once a week in my blog.
Less is more. Even with the air, you know, to implement the Buteco, practice it. You know, straight spine. You know, let your stomach relax and just practice that breathing methodology, and then make it a conscious effort to use it throughout the day. That type of breathing, which is almost no breathing, even when you exercise. It's going to change everything. It's remarkable. I don't know if you were on when I was talking about it earlier. It's just awesome. Just the breath, because as the CO2 is so important. It's just everything that they tell us is bad. It's the opposite, right in our face. Like, it's just, whoa, really? Even the CO2. Yeah, even the CO2. And the best one is the one your body actually makes. So utilize it. You know, build it up in your body, and you'll see things changing just with that. Because it's not only it's utilization of energy, but so many other things. And we don't have the whole understanding, but it's very important. Very important. CO2. You know, people breathe too much.
Yeah.
How unreal is that? It's just, really?
You can't say that to too many people.
Right.
They
Yeah.
don't understand it.
You know, don't eat, don't drink water anymore, and don't breathe. Wait, you're really crazy, man. You're lost. You're gone. You know, we've heard stories of yogis burying themselves for like days or weeks. How do they do it?
I don't know. That's amazing. I want to get there, though. I know that.
You harness.
It's exciting.
Yeah. Like, you know, will we all get there? No, it doesn't matter. No, but we want to know is what's possible, so we can work towards these things and implement some of this stuff in our lives. And you know, the V equals P, take away O formula, which Arnold Herrick wrote over 100 years ago. It's very sound once you understand the simplicity of it. Remove obstructions, open up that vacuum system, clear it up, and these field interactions, the vitality goes way up when you remove those obstructions. You're having challenges with the dry fast, and that's okay. Keep working at it. You know, we have, like I was saying earlier, the fall is coming up. You know, shoot for a long one. See what can happen. Just learn to tap into your trust and your faith. It's
That's one thing I'm working on.
Yeah, it's a mental block. It's a mental block. It's like, even for somebody like myself, who's been dry fast for a few years and fasting in general for many years, there still comes the stupid mind, and it's, you know, oh yeah, it's enough. Yeah, you know, break it now or whatever. Oh, you can't do this. You can't keep going. Whatever. You know, it's stupidity. It happens to all of us. So, you know, we have to step back. You know, put the mind in the box in the corner, close the lid, and it'll be waiting for you anytime you want to use it. It really is just a lot of bullcrap that's just coming through that self-talk that we have. That's nothing to do with reality or truth. So we work through them, and each time we would be able to go further and further and further. Like, 108 days. Look how many people have done 108 days. It's what are we in 80 something? It's that's that we know of. There's more out there. I know there's more.
Yeah.
It's
That's all.
anybody could do 108 days. Really, anybody can do it. Once there's that little bit of understanding of what we do and where the energy comes from. It's not from the physicality. It's not from physicality. We have Salome, the tennis player. She did 108 days, practicing 5-6 days a week, 5-6 hours a day, and she did a tournament on Masterfast. Come on, guys, look what's possible. Yeah, she's an athlete. Okay, I'm no athlete. I wouldn't be able to do it because I'm not an athlete. But I'm just saying, if she can do that, look at what's happening. We have Marin in Germany. He's over a year and a half. He only took a 2-week break in that year and a half of smoothies. A year and a half. This is somebody they chemoed the hell out of for 4 years. Nobody lives through 4 years of chemo. If you've listened to his interview, the only reason he lived through that was drinking, I think it was up to 2 liters of pure lemon juice while they was doing chemo because he couldn't eat. He couldn't eat. That's what saved him, the lemon juice. Yeah. And he's still detoxing, guys. A year and a half, still detoxing. It takes time. It takes time. I don't know how his body's working because they removed a lot of his lymph, but it's just awesome to see that what's possible. Sorry? Say that again?
Isn't that the plasma field?
The lymphatic system is our energy system. And maybe he's growing new vessels. I don't know, because I really don't know the extent of what they did to him. We're trying to get him to get some reports and stuff, but it's not easy for him. They left him with a huge bill after they experimented on him, which is pretty sad. But for sure, he's utilizing the plasma fields, guaranteed. But exactly how, when we were having these things removed, it's like that post I made on if you have anything removed from your body, like a thyroid or a different organ or gland or whatever, you can access it into from the astral body and the other bodies because they're still whole. I'm sure that's what he's doing. Because physically, there's just not an understanding of how he's able to still be alive. It's just a beautiful thing.
I do have a question since you mentioned Arnold Ehret.
Mm-hmm.
My husband and I were talking about when I cut myself, I was in the garden working today, and my blood is different. I bleed, and it's a light pink now. It's more liquid, more watery, and then it stops bleeding after just a short time. It just looks different and it reacts differently now.
Yeah.
So that's kind of cool.
Yeah, but the blood, like a pinkish, brightish red instead of a darker color.
Yeah.
Yeah, and water. That's what we want. We want it, water. We don't want it thick. The lymph should basically be like water. It's a high energy, lipid based, but should be basically the consistency of water just flowing through us. The problem is that we're putting all these obstructions, it gets thick. That doesn't flow. It's already difficult to get it moving, But I believe if we clean out enough of our obstructions, it'll be free flowing, even without muscle movement. It'll just keep flowing because that's the way the universe works. Things just, always in motion.
Well, I think my arms and legs are nice and clear, maybe, but I think my head and neck area there's still a lot of stagnation there. I have a sore still, and so just have to clear that out, and I'll be able to think.
Yeah, it's the head is a challenge to drain. We just keep working at it. It happens. even myself, you know, in this area, I completely plugged it up when I was on those high fats, and that's just everything fell apart. Teeth, hair, gone. Memory, the eyes, gone. I just you know, we just keep working at it, and it's getting better and better all the time. I've been able to improve my eyes quite a bit from before. They're not perfect like they were before, but my memory came back, which was completely gone. My short-term memory was almost not there at all. And you know, we just keep working at it. My teeth, they were completely destroyed. They don't hurt no more, which is great. That's took a while, but you know, it's something that is difficult for people to understand how much damage and how long it takes to do all this damage. It doesn't happen overnight. It's years of abuse to the body, mind, spirit, emotion.
Well, then I think I re-damaged it after my 108 just by
no, you can't damage it that quick.
That's true, because I kept thinking, what have I done? What have I done? Because I didn't listen to my body, and I just kept eating. I would do all these different combinations thinking, I'll find the secret. Well, now I know the secret was stop eating. But yeah, now I know.
Yeah, well, this is how we're going to learn, right? Your body's going to talk to you very, very clearly after these long fasts. And we don't listen. This is the problem, right? We all have the same challenges. We don't listen. So we need to learn to listen to what the body is saying.
Yeah.
You know, when you eat something, the next morning, you're going to feel it. It'll tell you if what you've eaten was good for you or not. That's what I've come to realize. The next morning is the surprise. And then if it wasn't that great, and then we do it again, then we have to ask, I guess we need to experience it again, right? And we all do it. We all do it.
Over and over and over, yeah. You know? I don't understand it, but anyway, I'm getting there.
Yeah, it's okay. You know, eventually the time comes where we say, okay, that's enough.
Well, and that's exactly what happened to me for my 108 last November. I just, that day, it just came along. I tried so many times before. I made it to 27. I made it to 5. I made it to 8. And then all of a sudden, I said, this is my 108, and I did it.
Yeah.
And every day was just, I was sick every day, pretty much, the 108 too.
Yeah,
but
challenges.
Yeah, I kept going and going, and it just was the best experience for me.
Yeah, each time people go on a longer one, they have a different experience. Every one that you do, it just goes into deeper levels. Like the first one gets out all that, you know, backed up stuff, food throughout the GI tract, pretty good. But then when we go to the second one, you know, you can't build up that plaque in a few years, you know, 1 or 2 years. Even if you eat bad, it wouldn't build it up that quick. It takes time to build up all that impacted stuff. So once we go into the second, we go into the deeper layer, you know, and then we go into the third, we go into the deeper layer, and so on and so forth. So you'll feel the differences. Like some people under 108, they had hardly any healing reactions, and then they go on to their second one, and they start getting all kinds of healing reactions because you're going into the deeper layers. So we don't know. We just embrace whatever it is and just ride it through. We have all the tools to get through them. And the biggest thing is the emotion for everybody, right? Yeah.
So can my spoon help my emotion?
Why not?
I know. I use it, so it's my magic tool.
Yeah. Was it you who burnt your field?
I don't know.
Your land? You burned some plants or something?
What?
Was it you? I remember reading somebody burned.
Oh, yeah. I thought you were talking about my energy field. Yeah.
Oh, no, yeah. And you had experience of all new life coming?
Yes. Butterflies, moths. They were the yellow butterflies and the purple moths.
There you go. A fire does not bring death, it brings life.
Yeah.
It's another thing we've been lied about, right?
Yes.
We just don't have the understanding to see at the plasmatic level of how it brings new life. With cooked juice, it's poison. You don't have that understanding. It's okay. It's
The
okay.
area had hardly had a chance to cool off.
Yeah.
Hardly had a chance to cool off. And there were ants everywhere, butterfly moths. It was amazing. They were crawling all over it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it was exciting.
So it's beautiful that you shared that, because farmers have been doing this for years and years and years, thousands of years, and they're still doing it. There's maybe the understanding at one time it was there, but now that understanding is not really there. They burn it. They're thinking matter to fertilize, but it has nothing to do with fertilizing. It's to re-energize. It's a forest fire. Yeah, forest fire. It brings up a new forest completely. Nature doesn't make mistakes. So anytime man interferes, we have problems. But if we leave nature alone, it does things that we don't have that capable understanding completely of what's going on. But we sometimes just have to step out of the way and let it happen. So the same thing with our body.
Yeah, I just put that in my blog today too, about how I get stuck in my own muck.
Yeah.
So,
how much of an area was it that you guys burned in your field?
We didn't do very big, just because we were just trying to see what would happen, because we want to do a bigger area, but we have to be a little more prepared just so it doesn't get out of control. Yeah. Because we do have neighbors, so we're just trying to learn how to keep it all under control. We'd probably have to dig trenches or something. We don't want to. That's a little too much work. So. Yeah, you need to have it under control for sure when you do these fires. For sure. Yeah, but hey, anybody who's got like fireplaces or wood stoves, the ashes are thrown back in your gardens. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it was pretty exciting. Yeah. Yep. Awesome. Learning new every day. Yeah, that's just this, stupid little thing. It's no rocket science, make a fire and that's it. Cook our juice. Going on for centuries. Yeah. We keep learning new stuff all the time, but it's all in front of our eyes. The answers all in front of our eyes. It's just, are we going to allow ourselves to see what the truth is and what's happening? That's another thing. Well, and that when I reintroduced food, it was harder for me to see. So now I have to get that all out again. Yeah, because the emotions take over, and we want to eat everything in sight. But the body's saying, "What are you doing? what are you filling me up for again? I'm feeling so great. What are you doing to me?" And then we keep doing it. It's what you said. Yeah, what you said earlier about the essential oils, how it's just all about the aroma and the scent. It's so true, because if I smell cinnamon, I think of my grandma making cinnamon rolls for us every single time. Trigger. It's all the emotions. It's all. Yeah. But I still have, I have cinnamon in my tea, so. Well, it brings back that experience, that experience of that emotion with your grandmother. And she was wonderful, and she's still with me every day. Yeah, you can enjoy that experience without having to eat any of it, just smelling it, right? So. If we can learn and tap into the emotion of food without actually eating it, you will get the energy from that food without eating it. You can do that. You can do it. It's not far-fetched. So my emotion when I start to search for things to eat, even though I know I don't want anything, even though I know it won't hurt me, is that just because I'm still feeling that emotional emptiness, right? Yeah, well, you can, like I said, you can,
your fields are looking for something to find some balance. And instead of doing it physically, try doing the mental exercises to take on these fields energetically, and see if you can satisfy yourself that way, like just smelling the cinnamon, and see if you can satisfy yourself. Like you said, she's with you all the time. That's part of the satisfaction, just by, the scent of that cinnamon. So, if you're craving durian, whatever, try and, tap into the emotion of the durian through the scent without eating it. Right, Evil?
Yeah, no. And I wanted to add, when I was doing my master fast, I was preparing food for people and, for my family or friends every week, almost every day. And just smelling the food, it felt like I was getting nourished. And then watching others enjoying it, but just working with it transferred its energy to me, it felt like.
Yeah.
And it was very therapeutic.
Yeah, I felt the same way when I was doing my 108. And then, sadly, I started eating afterwards.
Yeah.
So many people have posted that they had to still prepare food for their family, and their family said that they never, ever tasted food so good because they tapped into the emotion of the food, preparing it without tasting it.
Yeah.
And you get satisfied, like with people, just preparing it, just, getting the energy of doing that, tapping into the emotion of it without tasting it. These are things that, they sound far-fetched, but they're not. We're doing it anyway. It's just we're not conscious of it. So now we learn to be conscious of it, and there's going to be a time where, I don't need to eat it. I'm satisfied by just the smell of it. I've got it all I needed from it, because you are getting it. You are getting the energy from it. When we eat it, it's just draining us because we're doing physical work to harness the energy, actually going to our GI tract, which is much, much more work than just taking the whiff of it. But then we can go to a further step and not even taking a whiff of it, imagining that we're taking a whiff of it. And then we go to that level. So, you know what I mean? We can all do it. Just like we can travel the stars when we're sleeping. We should be able to do it when we're awake too. Why can't we? It's our belief system. That's all that's in the way, Anyway, we're all learning, and it's wonderful for people sharing all these little different experiences, because this gets us a step closer and closer to allowing these different experiences to manifest and become reality and part of us. Just tapping into all these emotional fields of the foods. We're used to having these odors of food trigger hunger for us, but we can change that because we don't need the actual physical foods if we can just tap into the emotion of these energies. Because everything has a soul, and everything that has a soul is a plasma, and it's a field. So it's just a fingerprint, all different fingerprints of all these different energies that we can tap into and learn to harness. The best way to allow your body to take in these fields is by giving. When you give, your fields open up to allow you to receive. That's one of the biggest, most simple universal laws. You got to give to receive. And, without expecting anything in return, we're just giving. And the more you give, the more you can receive. It's automatic. It's awesome. So this is the other example, when you have Evo or yourself preparing meals for family members, you're giving. You're not expecting anything, but you're receiving and you're getting satisfied. That's another example of how plasma works. You're giving to receive.
I love it.
So Evo,
Tell me.
you've experienced quite a few different durians. Was that the first time you went to have a fresh?
Yeah, it was my first time I went to Southeast Asia, and Yeah, it's first time, and it's it's a lot better to have the fresh, than the frozen.
Yeah, yeah.
Like now, since I've been back, I've had a few durians, but it's just not exciting to have the frozen one.
It's not the same. I know.
Yeah,
But it's okay.
yeah,
It's one of the few fruits that actually freezes, tastes pretty good, even frozen.
yeah, yeah. I mean, it's durian is better than no durian for sure. Yeah.
Awesome. How many varieties did you try?
I would say, I don't know, maybe 8,
Wow.
maybe. It was under 10, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe.
What was your favorite?
Um, let's see, I can't remember them all, but I liked Phuong Mani in Thailand, and the Chinese I liked. But in Malaysia, like, they had more nuances to their flavors. They had a bunch of different, they name them with letters, D11,
Oh,
was it D33?
how were the wild ones?
Well, obviously, probably someone planted them 70 years ago, or, and they were wild because no one was taking care of them. They're just producing fruits. Those were hit and miss. It depends. I would get some really good ones, and then some not good ones.
Hmm.
Yeah, when I was on the Koh Chang in Thailand, I stayed right by the durian farmers. I befriended an organic durian farmer, and he would allow me to go on the land and eat the fallen durian sometimes. And then I would just go hunt for, there's just rogue durian trees on land that seemed abandoned.
Nice.
Yeah, it's just everything growing wild, and yeah, it was good. But definitely Malaysia for durian. I recommend Malaysia or Sumatra in Indonesia. Because they have a culture of eating tree ripe and fallen durian,
Right.
whereas Thailand, Vietnam, and Cambodia, they eat their durian unripe. So unless you're staying by the durian growers, it's going to be hard to find properly tree ripened durian there.
Yeah, I've read that many years ago about that. Malaysia.
Yeah. It's just the different nuances in flavor. The older the tree, the more nuances in flavor with the fruit.
Interesting.
Yeah, so many different nuances in it, and I love the bitter, the bitter durians where they're sweet with the hint of bitterness, and so many other nuances.
Yeah, there's everyone's a different experience.
Yeah, definitely. And now with the high water fruits, my ingestion window is like 4 hours a day. Some, like the other day I did 2 hours and I was good. I don't need to ingest anymore. So I'm doing, I don't know. It's interesting.
Yeah. We need to keep experimenting, see where we can go with it. But
yeah,
that's a small window.
Yeah, but just doing it gradually. I'm not really pushing hard. It's just more breathing, and I don't know. We'll see.
Awesome.
But 4 hours seems okay. When I did watermelon, I did a watermelon island for 1 week. That was about a month and a half ago. I don't remember, and that was a little tough. Just only 2 watermelon meals. That was tough. In a 4 hour window, I had to do some days of 6 hour ingestion. Yeah. Interesting.
Yeah. So are you doing a weekly dry, or are you just doing the long dailies?
One week I did, I did it back to back, just all together. But I've just been doing the 24 hour, and if I do 24 hours a week, I do 24 hours a week. But or maybe 1 week I may do a 36. But I feel like I'm seeing how I can push my food intake further and further. So I don't know. The 24 hour, if I do 24 hours a week for right now, it seems like, I don't know. I like it.
Are you basically having one meal, or are you more?
No, I'll have, well, it's average 2. Sometimes it's 1, but if you include, like, I always start out with, usually lately it's just been apple juice with celery and dandelion, and just because I got all these organic apples from Chile, I get them cheap in bulk. And then I'll either have a smoothie or it might be a cantaloupe. It depends. So sometimes the solid meal is once a day, and sometimes I may throw in a smoothie, but it'll be like maybe 6 dates, maybe a banana and a half, and coconut water. It depends. It varies, but it's basically juice every day is my first intake.
Awesome.
But yeah, whatever's in, it was watermelon. I was on watermelon. I found some cantaloupe. Right now, it's not much. There was mangoes for a while. I had that.
Mango season's coming to an end, isn't it? Soon?
Yeah. So I go to this place and I get fruits in bulk, and I got some, but you have to wait for them to ripen because they pick them early. Whatever, ripen off the vine. So they're not. I finished the last one, so now I got to wait for these other ones that I just got to ripen.
I was at the store yesterday. They had some mangoes. They were hard as a rock.
Yeah, and it's funny though. They get soft and they get sweet. I just got to wait.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But sometimes they go rotten instead of ripening when they're so. Yeah, it's hit and miss over here if we get good ones. We've had a few good batches come through that were ripe, so it was all right.
Oh, that's good. But yeah, that's what I'm doing. Just ingestion window 4 hours. Right now, and 2 24 hours a week. There's some week I did 1 24-hour. It depends, but lately I've been got back on it. And just pushing more and more and seeing where that goes. And with the breathing, I guess that helps.
Yeah, the breathing helps big time. Without the breath work, man. Yeah. It's just amazing.
And so, I see that when I start the juice, then I want more juice, and then I want the flavor, Yeah.
Yeah, we're all there, man. We're all it's not something that we're going to, get rid of right away. It's going to take some time for some of us. Who cares? Whatever it is. But since we're eating, enjoy every bit of it. Enjoy.
Yeah.
Just, let's not beat ourselves up. Oh, we ate whatever, just enjoy and keep moving on.
Yep. Definitely. I'm enjoying it, So.
Awesome. Anybody else have any questions, or we call it a close? We're coming up to 2 hours. Well, we've discussed a few different things tonight. Food, and more food. This is what it's all about. We're eating machines. Yeah, it's a challenge to believe how little food we actually really need. So let's focus.
There are some questions here. Huh?
Oh, is there? I didn't see. Okay, I'm curious to learn the benefits of spraying Gans water and windows throughout the house. Does it act like the sun to positively affect change? Well, anywhere you spray these fields, even though the water dries, the fields are still there, and you're interacting with these fields. Every nanoparticle of the Gans has the potential of the sun. 1 nanoparticle. So, in a drop, there's who knows how many in there. It's probably hundreds of thousands of nanoparticles. And, these fields around. There's people that have been experimenting with keeping the temperature steady in their house without any heat, using GANS materials and different nano materials. The way the sun heats the earth, there's no heat in the sun, as we've been told. The sun's cold, actually. It's the field interaction through the atmosphere with the earth's field interaction that creates our atmosphere and temperature and so on and so forth. So it's all about field interactions. This is how all matter is created. So it's not only for the temperature, but we can interact with these fields. I just painted the house and I put some GANs in the paint, and you can feel sense the energy is different in the home. Like last time I painted, my home was about 9 years ago. And what I had done back then, I put ocean water in the paint, and people would come in the house and notice back then, oh yeah, something feels nice in here, because you can sense the energies. Everything has energy. Elements are different forms of plasma as well. So just spray it everywhere. It costs you nothing. Energize the water, spray it everywhere. Spray it on your car, spray it in your clothes, spray it in your bed, spray it everywhere. And make the pads, because when you put them on the body, you get a stronger field when they're close to you. As you move away or closer, different field interactions are happening, a different strength. Don's saying I'm always freezing, don't know why. Well, if you're fasting, that's a lot of people experience that when they're new to fasting, or even been fasting for a while. It happens. The body will put energy into the core, mostly doing work where it needs to do it the most, and it doesn't use the energy for heating you up per se when there's work to be done. Use saunas, use breath work, use movement, exercise to keep you warm in bed. You can use hot water bottles. I've done that. 2 hot water bottles keep you warm all night. They work well. Do whatever you have to do, but motion, keep moving, breath work. It happens. It happens. I remember when I started raw foods, I was freezing for like 2 years. Even in the summer, it was cold. Just going on to raw foods, and so it takes time to switch everything over and get things working. You can also, the thyroid, which is one of the things for temperature, massage with your burn stick daily, massage your kidneys daily. You can also do castor oil packs on your thyroid to help that, draw out any things that are obstructions that are affecting the thyroid and parathyroid. So these are all things that tools we use to help aid us. Cold showers, hot and cold, and end with cold. If you have cold hands or feet, get 2 buckets or pails or something. Put one with hot, as hot as you can take it, and one cold, ice cold. And then put your hands in it, and then switch as long as you can, and switch as long as you can, and switch. And you'll feel somebody, I remember, he was about to go to the hospital because he said he couldn't take it anymore. His hands were so cold, and I gave him that tip. And he posted maybe about half an hour or so later. He goes, I can't believe how fast that worked. So you can do that with your hands and feet. That's another thing you can do. We got a lot of tools, guys. It's sometimes when you're in the middle of it and experiences these things, everything you don't remember. So that's why we have the board, and hopefully somebody can help you quickly to remember. It's one of the tools that may help you get over one of these challenges. Sandy's asking, Don, are you a massive fast? My 108 did wonders for me, for my thyroid. I was cold for years, no longer cold. Yeah. Shifts will happen. It may not happen 108 days for people. Some people may have to do 2, 3. It doesn't matter. We know that this is the path, to allow the body to find balance. some of us are going to have to dig deeper. You know, like I got work to do. You know, a lot of work to do up here. So what? Keep going, because it keeps getting better and better and better. Dry fasting is another way that heats up a lot of people. A 2-3 day dry fast, start building heat. Now that the season change is coming, I don't know your experience in dry fasting, but some of us will want to try and experiment the 5 day at the most during the master fast. I wouldn't go more than 5 days on master fast. You're just pushing too much. Unless you're really experienced with a few master fasts under your belt and a lot of dry fasting experience and clean eating experience, I wouldn't recommend more than 5 days. And it's good to have supervision if you're not experienced. But dry fasting will heat you up. I was in Italy swimming in the cold sea in the winter on my dry fast, and using the Wim Hof Iceman breathing method. But it was awesome experience. Awesome. I haven't kept practicing it, and I can't do it now. But it's you start practicing these things. You know, I was very quickly within I think it was like 3 days. I was able to stay like 15 minutes in the cold sea, and people there thought I was crazy. Get out! What are you doing? It was nice, excellent, rejuvenating, re-energizes you. The cold. Always end with colder showers. It'll invigorate you. So Don, yes, on Master Fast. What day are you on, Don? 5? Oh, you just started. Okay, that's why you're all wrapped up. Yeah, use all the tips that we suggested. It happens. These are things that, you know, we need to embrace and understand that the body's going through a lot of changes. So just use the tools and the tips to keep warm. It's not fun being cold. You know, dress warm as much as you can. Doing it through the winter is pretty challenging. Some of us have done that when you fast through winters. You just dress warm and do whatever you can to stay warm. But hot water bottles, they really help. Really help. I had get them over here, like $3-5 each at Walmart, and fill them up with hot water. Keep them in your bed. Oh, nice and warm. So that's one of the things. But all these things we suggested will all help move energy. So hand ones, feet, very quick with it. Just keep switching. Few minutes, you'll see right away. It'll heat up, bring heat to them. It's just the body goes constricting, trying to squeeze things when you're fasting. That's what it's doing, especially when we're dehydrated. The more we get hydrated at the cell level, we won't get those squeezes as much until we do a long dry fast, which is why we're doing long dry fast. We want the squeeze. So then we hydrate, squeeze, hydrate. So there's different methods we're using. We use hot and cold. We're using dry and wet, you know, and breath. We're also doing it that way by breathing less. So many things we can do to keep the energy moving, because it's all about energy. The other one, the burn stick on your acupressure points, that'll also move energy. I talked about the thyroid, but acupressure points. What else could you do for heat? Think of a place in the beach, laying in the sun, meditate. That's the other one. Okay, so I guess we'll call it a night. It's been a pleasure to get some interaction. I can't be always doing the talking. All right, guys, so we'll call it a night. Thank you for joining. And let's pray for the guys who are experiencing these hurricanes. It's not something fun to be involved in. Hopefully they can solve these issues quickly. Who knows what's really going on? Are they man-made? Are they natural? We don't know, but hopefully everything does not get too crazy, and hopefully it dissipates and gets a lot weaker. And Florida, which is the next in line, I believe, will not be as bad as what others have experienced. It's pretty sad to see these things happen. So all we can do is put our intent in motion to dissipate the energy of that, the power of that hurricane, because it's just another form of energy. All right, guys. We'll see you hopefully Wednesday or next week. Good night, all.
Thank you, Gino.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Take care, everybody.
See you, Sid, Don, Jan, and iPhone. I don't know your name. Bye-bye.